hundreds of millions. Tensions in Gaza have escalated as Israel has intercepted 3 rockets that crossed into Israel from Lebanon. This followed Israel's attempt at intensifying its airstrikes, targeting key infrastructure in an effort to pressure Hamas into releasing hostages. One of the most devastating strikes hit Gaza's only specialised cancer hospital, the Turkish-Palestinian Friendship Hospital, causing significant damage and raising fears of a worsening humanitarian crisis. Reports indicate several patients and medical staff were among the casualties. According to Israel's defence ministry, the airstrikes are part of a broader strategy to cripple Hamas's operational capabilities while leveraging the pressure to secure the release of hostages. Israeli officials have reiterated that their operations will continue until all hostages are freed, despite mounting international concern. In response to the escalating violence, the United Kingdom, France and Germany have jointly called for an immediate ceasefire, urging Israel to restore humanitarian access to Gaza. The joint statement emphasises the critical need for medical aid and supplies to reach affected areas, as hospitals are being overwhelmed with casualties. Here's what Jean-Noël Barrot, French Foreign Minister, said about the attacks.
Je déplore l'attaque inacceptable qui a touché un bâtiment des Nations Unies à Gaza, qui a blessé des personnels des Nations Unies et blessé grièvement 2 de nos compatriotes. Le consulat de France est pleinement mobilisé et en soutien, et j'exprime toutes mes pensées aux victimes, pour leurs proches et pour leurs familles.
Meanwhile, the United Nations and other humanitarian organisations have condemned the attacks on medical facilities. They stress that targeting healthcare infrastructure violates international humanitarian law. The United Nations Rights Office has expressed horror as at least 200 children and more than 110 women have reportedly been killed in Israel's renewed attacks on Gaza just this week. The international community has expressed deep concern over the worsening conditions in Gaza, calling for restraints from all parties. Here is what Sigrid Kaag, the UN Special Coordinator, said at a recent UN meeting.
Madam President, I'd also like to express my profound alarm at the resumption of hostilities in Gaza this week, which has already killed hundreds, mostly women and children. And I would like to echo the Secretary General's call for the resumption of serious negotiations for the ceasefire, unimpeded humanitarian access, and for the remaining hostages to be released immediately and
As the conflict intensifies, diplomatic efforts continue behind the scenes to de-escalate the situation, but both sides remain entrenched in their positions. The humanitarian impact continues to grow as strikes persist and relief efforts face severe challenges. The army has struck 2 military bases in central Syria, one in Palmyra, after a war monitor reported that the airbase in the city had been targeted since rebels overthrew Bashar al-Assad's regime in December. Israel has launched hundreds of strikes on military sites in Syria. They have claimed that it wants to prevent weapons from falling into the hands of the new authorities. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has demanded the demilitarization of southern Syria and said his country will not tolerate the presence of forces from the new authorities south of the capital Damascus. Syria's foreign ministry has accused Israel of waging a campaign against the stability of the country. Israel's military says it has intercepted a missile launched from Yemen after air raid sirens sounded in several areas, including Jerusalem. In a statement, Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels claimed responsibility. The Houthis had threatened to escalate attacks in support of Palestinians following Israel's renewed attacks this week. The Houthis had paused their attacks for the duration of an Israeli-Hamas ceasefire that began in mid-January, but resumed launching missiles and drones after the United States carried out deadly strikes on Yemen and in what they called solidarity with the Palestinian people. Meanwhile, here is what the military spokesperson Yahya Saraya had to say on the strikes.
استهدفت القوة الصاروخية مطار بن غوريون في منطقة يافا المحتلة، وذلك بصاروخ باليستي فرط صوتي نوع فلسطين 2، وقد حققت العملية هدفها بنجاح بفضل الله، وتعد هذه العملية هي الثالثة خلال 48 ساعة، وتنبه القوات المسلحة اليمنية كافة شركات الطيران إلى أن ما يسمى بمطار بن غوريون أصبح غير آمن لحركة الملاحة الجوية، وسيستمر كذلك حتى وقف العدوان على غزة ورفع الحصار عنها.
We now head to